Aquinas basketball lived in the shadow of Little Irish football for 60 years. No matter how good the team, basketball got the fine print, football the front page. But not anymore, not after Wednesday, when 60 years of frustration boiled over into a trip to the Section 5 AAA championship and a shot at the Little Irish first title ever. Now, Franklin, on the other hand, they've been this route so much for so long, it's almost become a part of their regular season schedule. Quakers have won 9 sectional titles, including the 1984 championship. Could have won back-to-back trophies for the second time in a little over a decade, but lost a heartbreaking double overtimer to 1985 champ East. So it's the established power Franklin in for a third straight year, and the team that gets no respect, the Little Irish of Aquinas, for the Section 5 AAA basketball championship next. A NewsCenter 13 sports exclusive. Live from the Rochester War Memorial. It's the 1986 Section 5 AAA basketball championship game. The Little Irish of Aquinas take on the Ben Franklin Quakers. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Rochester Coca-Cola, A.L. Anderson & Sons. In Section 5, Coke is it. By Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers Restaurants. And by True Value Hardware and your local True Value Hardware dealer.
The War Memorial is already rocking. There's an expected crowd of over 5,000. Just can't wait for the Section 5 AAA championship basketball game between the Quakers of Franklin and the Aquinas Little Irish. Hello again, everybody. Fred Cowgill here at the War Memorial with Edison Tech head coach Dick O'Toole. Dick, it looks like another great game.
Fred, if the game is anything like the excitement the crowd has generated already, we're in for another thriller just like last year.
A lot of good stories to talk about here just for a few moments. The first, the obvious one at Aquinas, a football power for years, and now for the first time in 60 years in the title game.
This is a new happening for them in basketball. Their program has been competitive, but they've never really gotten to the top. Winning this year has created that excitement. The school is behind them. The alumni are coming out. They're looking forward to a big victory today.
A story that isn't talked about too much, this potentially is the last year for head coach Mike Ruff.
Yes, it's been rumored that Mike will not be coaching next year. He left Aquinas to take a teaching position at Fairport to try to better his career, and Aquinas felt that it would be better for them to have a coach within their own building. So at this point, right now, this is Mike's final year of coaching.
So obviously a bunch of incentive for the Little Irish. 2 big guys for them. First of all, the point guard, the general, Eric Lowenguth.
Eric Lowenguth is the key to making the offense run for Aquinas. He has to handle the pressure of Aquinas, or of Franklin, find Thomas and Moore, who are their primary scorers.
Let's talk about Paul Manzarella for a moment. He is the center, the heart and soul of the team. Not very big, not very strong, but seems to always get the job done.
Paul's been a real compliment to Thomas in the middle. He's worked very hard. He never lets up. He's going to have to rebound and score some points inside if Aquinas is going to be effective tonight.
On the other side of the court, of course, Franklin in the 3rd straight sectional final. Head coach Trent Jackson and a great program.
Trent's had his team here before. They play good, solid basketball. They play exciting basketball, as attributed to their 3rd appearance in 3 years in the finals.
You would think that the story for them this evening might be their big man, a big reliance possibly on Eric Thomas, maybe Torrey Poindexter.
Eric Thomas is a sleeper-type player. You think about the McLeans and Poindexter, but Thomas has excellent skills, great jumping ability, can go to the basket, or he can shoot the jumper. I think for Franklin to be effective tonight, he's going to have to play a major part.
And of course, the city Catholic rivals, these two teams have played each other this season just once. Aquinas beating Franklin, but that again was on a small court, now the bigger War Memorial.
Yes, it was on a small court, but I don't think that really had a factor in Aquinas winning the game. I just think they played excellent basketball all year long, and they beat Franklin outright.
All right, it should be a great one. The Quakers of Franklin and the Little Irish of Aquinas. We'll have the starting lineups in just a few seconds. You're watching the sectional AAA championship game exclusively on TV 13 Sports.
Yeah, so Tom, could you get that tow truck down to Route 34?
One day soon, a wave will sweep over you. It will be a wave of taste so refreshing, so irresistible, so new, that sooner or later it will leave all others in its wake. Catch the wave. Coke.
We've got what it takes.
At True Value hardware stores, we have a lot of different customers. Professionals and do-it-yourselfers of all different ages. But they all have one thing in common. They all know about the great service they get at True Value. We take the time to treat people right, and that's what keeps all those different customers coming back.
Thanks, Don.
Time and time again.
We've got what it takes. True Value.
Hamburgers are like trains. At some places, the hamburger makes several stops. First in a box, then under the heat lamp, and finally in the holding bin. That's the local hamburger. At Wendy's, your hamburger goes straight to you while it's fresh. So why take the local hamburger when you can get a Wendy's Express?
Hot stuff.
You know where to get all these steaming, hot-stuffed baked potatoes.
Hot, so hot.
You get them at Wendy's.
Welcome back to the War Memorial. Fred Cowgill and Edison Tech head coach Dick O'Toole at the Section 5 AAA Championship basketball game, moments away from the Franklin Quakers and the Aquinas Lil Irish. Coach, a couple of great teams. We're going to take a look at the starting lineups. Actually, first we're going to look at the road to the AAA finals. And unfortunately, we don't have that tape, so while we have a few seconds, why don't we talk with Gene Johnson, the Section 5 basketball chairman here. Gene, another great tournament this season. You guys have done it for 65 years. How have you been able to do it so long?
It does. At times it seems like 65 years, but I think it has been a combination of a lot of people working to make the tournament go off. We've been fortunate. We've had great media coverage. You know, the papers and television groups like yourselves have made the tournament a real success.
Interesting. You know, for so long this has become a state showcase of sorts. Really generated a lot of interest around the state, especially down in New York City.
Oh yeah, it has. And you know, as you travel around the state and watch the sectional playoffs and the state tournaments, you'll find that Section 5 just has an outstanding tournament.
Gene, what about the future? Attendance is down slightly, competition from cable, from all sorts of basketball games on television, but you still have a hardcore following.
Well, we do, and we actually, even though there seems to be a tendency for the tournament crowds to be decreasing, this year in the War Memorial, since we've had the semifinals and finals, our tournament attendance is actually up for those two rounds.
Gene Johnson, thank you for joining us. Another great year and hopefully another great game.
Thank you, Tom.
A couple of great teams in this tournament. Of course, the Franklin Quakers and the Little Irish of Aquinas. Let's take a look at how both got to the title game. Aquinas' trip to their first title game in 60 years was more like a magical mystery tour. Nobody noticed the 8th-seeded Little Irish, at least at first. Arcadia sure did, though, after losing to Aquinas 64-56 in the first round of the tournament. Then, the Big Bang. The Little Irish end East's perfect season. Aquinas beat the Oriental Express 61-59 after East had ripped 19 straight wins and a season-long top ranking. So Webster knew what they were in for in the semifinals and got every bit of it. Center Paul Monserella led the Little Irish out of the shadow of the football program by scoring a game-high 21 points to come back from an 8-point Warriors lead to beat Webster 63-60 for a shot at the AAA title.
It was another exciting game. All year we've had 4 overtime games. We've had a lot of close games. And playing in the City Catholic League, I think it's helped us to play tough teams and tough competition. We didn't quit. We had a bad second quarter. We were down 7 at half, but the kids fought back and played a great second half.
Franklin was written off after opening the season with 5 straight losses, but most in the know, including Penfield, knew the all-junior Quakers team would mature by tournament time. And the Chiefs knew what they were talking about after a first-round elimination, a 68-41 blowout. Franklin then had one of their toughest tests of the season, at least on paper. Gates Chili was one of the area's top-ranked teams all season, but by their quarterfinal match with the Quakers, they fell just short, 59-54. Next was Sperry. Head coach Gene Monge, a former teammate of the Quakers head coach Trent Jackson at Franklin, had obvious incentive to bring down his alma mater. Might have been the tournament's best game, too. The Comets, crippled with key losses at guard and center, fought for their lives, especially Len Lewis, who had a game-high 26 points. But in the end, Franklin's twin brother guards were just too much. Kenny and Keith McLean combined for 40 points and put the Quakers in the title game a third straight year with a 66-62 win over Sperry.
I'm pleased that we came out on the winning end. We did a lot of things bad simply because Sperry played some good defense on us, but I'm pleased overall.
So it's Franklin and Aquinas, a perennial champion and this year's Cinderella story, fighting for the Section 5 basketball AAA title. Next.
So, Coach, looks like a great game here this evening.
It certainly does. I think we got the two best teams playing right now. They've proven it coming through the tournament. They've played consistent in the tournament, and that's why they're here in the finals tonight.
All right, then. We'll be back in just a few moments on this TV 13 sports exclusive, Franklin and the Little Irish of Aquinas. Next.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the Chrysler Plymouth cars that you bought from us.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers would like to say,
Thanks.
for a great sales year with 7.5% financing or $500 cash back on Plymouth Horizon. Plus, super deals on all our cars, including Plymouth Reliant.
Thank you very, very, very much.
Visit one of these 4 Rochester Metro Chrysler Plymouth dealers now.
A parent growing older can raise a lot of concern. I know it did for me. Mom was confused. She wasn't following her diet, and she was forgetting her medication. HCR was such a simple solution. Now Mom has a special relationship with the aide from HCR, who takes care of the important things like following her diet, making sure she takes her medication, and helping with exercise and personal grooming. Thanks to HCR, Mom's got her independence, and I've got peace of mind.
We're about 5 minutes away from the championship game of Section 5 basketball in Class AAA, Franklin and the Little Irish of Aquinas. Let's take a look at both starting lineups.
Aquinas, number 30.
Aquinas with head coach Mike Ruff. Mike, quite a season for you.
Yeah, we've been very happy with the way the season's gone by. We lost a couple close ones. In fact, we lost 3 games that went to overtime or double overtime, but we felt that would help us in the sectionals playing the tough City Catholic League. And we've been fortunate in the playoffs. Anybody can win it, but we've been very fortunate, and we're happy to be here.
That roller coaster ride included a couple of great games. I mean, you beat Franklin already once.
Right, we did. We've had some great games. We beat Franklin, Monroe, Edison. We took East to double overtime. So we've played a tough schedule, and we think that's going to help us tonight, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
I would think that Quakers game would really give you an inside track, especially having beaten them.
Yeah, it gives us a little bit of an inside track. It gives us confidence that we can win, but on the other hand, it gives them the revenge motive, and it's tough to beat another the same team twice, so they're going to be out for us.
All right, Coach, let's look at the starting lineups of the Aquinas Little Irish.
Little Irish are led by playmaking guard Eric Lowenguth, a 5'9" senior that averages 10 assists a game. On the other side, Wakili Moore is the shooter, averages 16 points a game. He's a 6'3" senior. Forwards are led by Chris Thomas, 6'2" senior, averages 15 points a game. He gets the ball from forward Tim Reinders, a 6'1" senior, averages 7 assists a game. The heart and soul of Aquinas is at center. Senior Paul Mansorella is only 6'3", but plays like a giant, averages 10 rebounds a game.
Here at Franklin High with head coach Trent Jackson. Trent, third straight year in the finals.
We're happy and pleased that we've been fortunate enough to make this our 3rd year.
How have you been able to do it? So many great players over the years.
Well, at the beginning of the season, we didn't have this as one of our goals. We just wanted to go as far as we could, playing good team ball. And it's icing on the cake that we've been fortunate enough to go this far.
A young team, and you struggled early.
Struggling now. I like it because, honestly, we didn't think we would go this far. The team is coming together, and I really appreciate their willingness to work.
What's been the key for you?
Playing as one. Playing as one. That's been the difference. Last year, we had talent galore. I needed more than one ball, though. This year, we have 5 guys willing to give the ball up.
And what about beating Aquinas?
We're going to try our best.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at your starting lineups of the Franklin Quakers.
Franklin's all juniors. The Quakers' strength is at guard. The McLean Show. Twin brothers Kenny and Keith, both 5'9". Kenny runs the offense. Keith shoots the ball. Both average close to 17 points a game. The forward spot, it's 5'10" junior Tim Washington. joined by the smart shooting Eric Thomas, a newcomer who's also a solid rebounder. And at center, Section 5's version of Manute Bol, the sinewy Tory Poindexter, human eraser that blocks a bunch of shots and changes directions of even more.
We're moments away from the opening tip. It's the Franklin Quakers and the Little Irish of Aquinas next on this TV 13 Sports exclusive.
You are about to experience something new. A new wave of taste that will stretch your imagination. A taste so smooth, so refreshing, so irresistible. Your only choice will be to catch it. Catch the wave. Coke. Hamburgers are like trains. At some places, the hamburger makes several stops. First in a box, then under the heat lamp, and finally in the holding bin. That's the local hamburger. At Wendy's, your hamburger goes straight to you while it's fresh. So why take the local hamburger when you can get a Wendy's Express? When it's really cold out, Wendy's homemade chili will really warm you up.
This is Don Alhide. You know, any newscast can tell you what happened. Here at NewsCenter 13, we tell you more. Recently, we told you why speculation about a takeover of Eastman Kodak had workers worried about their futures. In our special report, David Burns explained the problems surrounding parking in the city. And Fred Cowgill told you about the loss to letterment, explaining the decline in multi-letter athletes in area schools. You can count on us to keep you informed. At NewsCenter 13, the more you watch, the more you understand.
Dick O'Toole and Fred Cowgill back at the War Memorial, moments away from the Section 5 AAA championship basketball game. Coach, two major rule changes to talk about. The first one that's received a lot of controversy. If our director Chuck can roll a tape, a bunch of coaches over the years have had sort of liberties on the line, going out of the coaching box, getting out of their chairs, having some chats with officials, and that's now changed on the high school level, hasn't it?
Yes, it is. Coach now must remain seated at all times except during a timeout or to put a player in the game that is fouled out or for injuries.
Now, some have gone to drastic means to do this. I know you're one of the easier guys to hang on to, but a guy like this, for instance, has to use a seat belt. How has it been in Section 5?
Well, the games that I've been involved in, I think the coaches have done a good job of staying on the bench. I know it's a big adjustment, and there has been some technicals called because of that, but I think all in all, the coaches have done a pretty good job.
Okay, one last thing, of course, this year is the first year in Section 5 for a possession clock. Could you tell us about that?
Well, the possession clock is to basically eliminate the jump balls. When two players have the ball simultaneously with a jump ball, the referee would then toss the ball up. This is no longer done. The alternate possessions, which takes away the air of a toss by the official. I think it's a good rule change.
Okay, so we will have a tap then for the opening tap here, but after that they'll go each side.
Except if we have overtime.
What happens then?
Then we go to a tap all over again, center tap, and then alternating possessions.
Okay, both teams are 16-5. Both teams not big favorites to get into this tournament. The top 4 seeds of the tournament, in fact, were knocked off in the first 3 rounds.
This is true, but I thought Aquinas played very well all year long. I thought they were very consistent, and I'm really not surprised that they're here. The games that they lost were close. They played hard. I didn't think they had an up and down season. I thought they had a very level season. I think that's why they're here tonight.
A lot of pressure on the officials, all these new rules we were talking about a few moments ago, and so we'll talk about the two that are here tonight. Sandy Swingle on the left side of your screen, and Tom Ward. A difficult night for Tom's daughter, Kelly. She is at Highland Hospital tonight with a bad knee. Don't know if it was from basketball or not, but we wish Kelly quite well, and so does her dad. I know she's very upset about not being here. But those officials, obviously, a lot of pressure on them to make sure both coaches stay on their seats, as well as all the other things that go on in this game.
It is. I think the officials tonight, they're not going to really worry about the coaches if they get up to give some instructions to their players versus if they're voicing disapproval to the officials about how a call was made or wasn't made. You know, the rule is, I don't think it's a good one. I think it takes away a valuable teaching point for the coach, and this is actually part of basketball.
All right, Coach, we're just moments away from the opening tap. Aquinas wearing white, going from right to left on your screen. Franklin in the red or darker tops. Torrey Poindexter, number 24, tapping it for Franklin. Number 42, a surprise, Chris Thomas tapping for Aquinas.
I think Thomas has jumped because he is their best jumper on the team.
The tap controlled by Franklin. Tim Washington with the ball. To the top. Washington back out to McLean. Kenny to his twin brother. And there's Keith.
That's a McLean trademark, an outside shot. They're excellent outside shooters.
Aquinas breaking, but taken back by Franklin. It's McLean. On the wing to Poindexter.
Aquinas right now is in a 2-3 zone.
Tim Washington, the first points on the board, and Franklin in the lead, 2-zip. Eric Lowenguth, the general for the Aquinas Lil Irish, again looking for that first title in some 60 years.
Franklin's opened up man-to-man.
Paul Manzarella with the miss. Well, Aquinas will retain possession.
I think Keith McLean was out of bounds when he had the ball.
Ball inbounded. Taken to the top. Lowenguth running the action up there. Grinders looking inside, but can't find much help.
You'll find Aquinas will be patient on offense in their half-court set. If they don't have a chance to fast break, they will set up and work the ball. They are a good passing team.
Thomas with the miss for Aquinas. McLean will try for Franklin. Grinders on the break for Aquinas. Just 2-0 so far, a minute and a half into the game. Franklin over Aquinas.
Aquinas very deliberate here. They want to make sure they can work to get a good shot. There's the turnover by Reinders.
Reinders loses the ball and then a foul. The first of the game. And immediately, Pat Moynihan checks in for the Aquinas Lil Irish as Tim Reinders hits the bench after the foul.
Moynihan was a starter earlier in the year, Fred. He broke his ankle for the fourth game, and he's been out. He's slowly come back in and been seeing quite a bit of action. And I think Coach Ruff feels that, you know, he should be in there. He earned it in the beginning of the year. It was an injury that took him out.
Tim Washington with a bucket for Franklin as they take a 4-0 lead. Aquinas on the break. Wakili Moore. Torrey Poindexter with the rebound for Franklin. Aquinas quickly back ball. Poindexter underneath, triple team. And it's Keith McLean. Rebound by Thomas.
So far, all of Franklin's shots have been outside shots. They haven't really worked the ball inside much.
Wakili Moore, they need him. Their highest scorer, 16 points a game. And a foul. Tim Washington butting heads with Pat Moynihan.
Foul number 25, Tim Washington has his first team foul. Aquinas ball.
Wakili Moore will take it out for Aquinas. Lowenguth, so street smart, the general of the Aquinas attack. Wakili Moore, yes.
That's Moore's favorite spot. He's a good baseline shooter. That's the shot he's going to be looking for in this game.
Washington. No good, but a foul. An offensive foul. Tim Washington. I take that back. Eric Thomas with the foul, an elbow underneath. His first foul. And Aquinas has the ball. Down 4-2, 5 minutes left first quarter. The Section 5 AAA championship. Thomas with the bucket.
Real nice press breaker by Aquinas. They hardly use any dribbling. Good passing down the floor for the easy layup.
And there's McLean. Kenny with the miss, followed by Washington, no good. Washington again.
That shows you the jumping ability of Washington. When he came in for that first tip, he was way up above that rim.
Haven't heard much from Paul Manzarella, the center for Aquinas.
No, they haven't really looked for him at this point. There was a nice pick and roll by Manzarella. set the pick. Lowenguth came off the pick. Manzarella rolled to the basket, got the return pass for the easy layup. Franklin didn't switch off on that play.
And we're tied at 6. The twin McLean brothers playing catch, Washington right side. Tim Washington. Full court pressure now by Franklin.
Still man-to-man, Franklin, but they're picking him up full court.
Lots of pressure. Lowenguth, one of the quickest guards in Section 5. They're able to handle it. Now a steal. Torrey Poindexter.
Poindexter.
And it's right.
He saw the open man. He just couldn't find the handle to make the pass and then had the travel violation.
Franklin in the lead, 8-6. All 8 points for Franklin by Tim Washington. Eric Lowenguth with the ball for Aquinas. Right side to Pat Moynihan. Underneath, the ball lost for control by Aquinas. So Tim Washington with the early hot hand for Franklin. Surprise, Coach?
No, I thought all along he's sort of been an unsung hero for Franklin. I felt Washington played a key role in Franklin's success this year, although you didn't hear about him as much as McLean's. He was steady for him throughout.
All right, we have a timeout as Franklin head coach Trent Jackson is not exactly happy about what he's seen out there. The game tied at 8 between Franklin and Aquinas for the Section 5 AAA championship. We will see you in just a moment. Oh, first we'll have a replay of that last basket as the game is tied at 8, 3:17 left in the first quarter. Let's go to the huddle of Aquinas.
Eric, just got here, Moynihan here, and dog here. Pick for Eric, Eric gets it. Eric, you drive it over. Moynihan goes down, double pick. Thomas, set a pick there. Look, I thought you had to run off the lead. Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Just set a pick there, watch for the double screen, then run it through. You two go pick for Thomas. But they're just not getting out of one. Run it through for Thomas Sloan. Run all of our plays. Run the 3 for Y, run the 1, run the 2. We need all of our plays. On the 1, if you don't have it, run it again. On the 1, be more deceptive than bust across on the 1. Okay? Thomas just go inside on the 1. Be deceptive than bust across. Run the 2 also. You gotta execute that. Execution. If you don't have it, force that 1 jumper. Thomas, on their team, the Clashers got 4 baskets. Shade his side.
He's an excellent coach, Fred. He's proven it
Washington, right.
this year, but since he started at Aquinas. And in that huddle there, he's really emphasizing how he wants his team really to work on offense, to run their patterns, make sure that they're taking the best possible shot.
All right, Franklin with the ball. Tied at 8, 3:13 left first quarter. The McLeans running the offense for Franklin.
Aquinas still setting the 2-3 zone.
Keith McLean with the miss, with the rebound by Eric Thomas. No good. Aquinas ball.
Aquinas ball.
Eric Lowenguth with the ball. Game tied at 8. A real tight one early. Very conservative play so far, Coach.
Aquinas will do that, though. If they don't have the break, they will pull it out and work for the good shot in their half-court offense, whereas Franklin is more of an up-tempo team. They'll push the ball up the floor, and even if they don't have a layup off the break, they still want to get the ball up to the basket quickly.
A foul underneath on Aquinas. Franklin will go to the line. Once ago, Keely Moore hitting his 3rd shot in 4 attempts for 6 points. Tim Washington going to the line. Here's a replay of that foul underneath, Coach.
Yes, they didn't block out inside. Aquinas didn't block out. Allowed the Franklin player, Washington, to get inside. He got the rebound and took it back up strong. That foul.
The first of 2 is up and good. Washington ties the game at 10.
Franklin's backed off of their full court pressure, and they now settle into a 2-3 zone.
Lowenguth. Franklin with the rebound, and Torrey Poindexter out on the wing. It's Kenny McLean. No.
Aquinas did a nice job of getting back on defense, not allowing Franklin to get the easy layup on the fast break.
Lowenguth brings it back out. They'll start it over for Aquinas. Mansarella is being so well covered in there, Coach.
Yes, he is. They know that he has potential to put the ball in. He's had some big games for him, and I think they want to try to guard against that. I believe the last time they played, Mansarella was a key factor in Aquinas' victory.
So far, the man to stop for Aquinas, or for Franklin, I should say, would seem to be Tim Washington, who has all 10 points for Franklin.
He's having an excellent game so far.
Kenny McLean looking to Washington again. And he'll try again. Wakili Moore with the rebound. Quick outlet. Thomas at the other end.
That was a nice fast break by Aquinas. Got the ball up court quickly. Thomas took a couple dribbles to the open spot, made a nice shot.
Once again, the Plains playing catch. Keith with the shot. Not good. Aquinas with the lead and looking for more. 1 minute left, first quarter. 12-10 Aquinas. Mansarella. No good, but a foul.
Mansarella was open down low. He got the ball, couldn't handle it right when he caught it, but he did recover to get the shot and got fouled. And I think that's what they have to do, is get the ball down inside, make Franklin play defense.
Poindexter with the foul, his first. Mansarella shooting 2. Gets the first.
That shot should loosen Mansarella up a little bit. He looked a little tight.
Rebound, Franklin. Ray Mathis now in the game for Franklin. Gets that rebound and helps bring the ball up. Back to Kenny McLean, who runs this offense. Inside now, Thomas with a running hook.
That was a nice pass inside. Thomas had good position and rolled to the basket for that short hook shot.
Pat Moynihan, right side, can't find anything going. Pops, no.
That was a good, strong effort by Thomas to get that loose ball, and resulted in getting fouled as he went up for the shot.
Why the addition now for Franklin of Ray Mathis?
Well, he's probably looking for maybe somebody can put the ball in. Keith has not had a good night shooting so far. I think maybe he wants to take him out, let him calm down a little bit, possibly look for somebody that might be able to put that shot in that Franklin has been getting on the outside.
Mathis with his first foul. Thomas now shooting the second of 2. And makes it. 14-12, Aquinas over Franklin, 18 seconds left, first quarter. Poindexter almost loses it, and an offensive foul, elbowing Wakili Moore.
Good position down low on the baseline by Wakili Moore. Poindexter got the ball, his back turned to the basket, he just turned and went right into Moore. Subsequently, he committed the foul. So here on the replay, he's got the ball, he doesn't know that Moore's there, he turns, he goes right into him.
And back to live action, Franklin with a steal, but not in time as the end of the first quarter comes. And Aquinas 3 quarters away from possibly their first sectional title in some 60 years. 14-12, Aquinas over Franklin. This is Section 5 Championship Basketball exclusively on TV 13 Sports.
1180 AM. WHAM, the radio station you can depend on. When you need to know first, turn to 1180 WHAM and Rochester's largest radio news team. You can depend on WHAM for news, radar weather, traffic, school closings, and a great variety of music. So, for news and weather when you need it, and a great variety of music when you want it, depend on 1180 WHAM.
It's not often that Hill TV adds a new product line, but when we do, you can be sure of its quality. I'm Bob Hill, and I'm pleased to announce our addition of the complete line of Amana appliances. Now our customers have an even greater selection of major appliances to choose from, and all are backed by our famous 5-year worry-free warranty, the proven warranty. Amana appliances, now on display at Hill TV, where you can buy now with no payments until September 3rd.
We're back at the War Memorial. We're after 1 quarter of play in the Section 5 AAA championship game. Aquinas has a 2-point lead over the Franklin Quakers. Aquinas going for their first sectional title in 60 years. Obviously a traditional football power, now getting some exposure in basketball, and the about 6,000 people on hand love every second of it. At least the Aquinas side does. Aquinas with the ball on the alternate possession rule. Paul Manzarella with the miss. Thomas with the rebound. Tim Washington with all 12 Franklin first quarter points. Shot is no good by Matthews. His own rebound. Tipped and finally missed again by Poindexter. Basket and a foul. Eric Thomas.
That was just good effort all around by Franklin.
Foul charge number 45, Paul Manzarella.
They got the rebound. Poindexter, he put it up. Thomas put it up again. Poindexter gets a hand on it. Thomas again, and he gets fouled going up. They had about 4 shots on that exchange.
15-14. Franklin in the lead by 1. 7:25 left first half. Lowenguth to Wakili Moore. Reinders now back in the game. Thomas with the miss. The rebound by Washington, and Franklin will take it. Kenny McLean is fouled. Some might have called it travel.
I think that they had different calls, but referee Swindle is going to overrule what Tom Ward was going to call.
So Kenny McLean goes to the line. In the bonus situation, shooting the 1-1. Franklin up by a point and looking for more. McLean averages 18 points a game, the Quakers' leading scorer. So far, the McLeans have been shut out until that first point. 7 shots and no points until the first free throw by Kenny McLean. Paul Manzarella with the rebound as Aquinas tries to get back in the game, down by 2, 16-14, 7 minutes left first half.
Franklin's in their 2-3 zone. Aquinas being very patient with the ball. Thomas, good position, good weak side pass.
Reinders with an air ball taken by Thomas. Franklin goes the other way. Reinders, who had been pulled moments ago in favor of Pat Moynihan, back in the game. And there's Ray Mathis for Franklin. Gets the drop. Quakers with a 4-point lead, so the Little Irish want to talk it over. So we'll talk it over. We'll have a commercial break with the score. 18-14, Franklin over Aquinas. This is the Section 5 AAA championship game exclusively on TV 13 Sports.
When the streets get hot, I pull off the devil.
Do not touch your remote control. We are not experiencing technical difficulties. There is a new wave of taste that is flooding the airwaves. A taste so refreshing, so irresistible, that soon we will all be on the same wavelength. Catch the wave. Coke.
When you want professional-looking results from your do-it-yourself projects, choose professional quality master mechanic tools from True Value hardware stores. You'll find a wide selection of tools and accessories in their master mechanic line, each expertly made from superior materials. Yet they're priced with a homeowner's budget in mind. And with each master mechanic tool, you get a guarantee of complete satisfaction or free replacement, exclusively from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Back at the AAA championship game at the War Memorial, Fred Cowgill and Edison Tech head coach Dick O'Toole. Dick, moments ago, Franklin went into the lead 18-14 on this bucket. Ray Mathis.
Ray Mathis had a soft touch, caught the rim, it fell back for the 2 points. That's with the soft touch, you're going to get that kind of action on the rim.
Franklin shooting just 31% from the field. Aquinas slightly better, 35%, but down by 4. Franklin with a number of offensive rebounds, totaling 4 more, in fact, than Aquinas. Aquinas head coach Mike Ruff sticking with his starting lineup. Not too many changes today. One change for each team, I should say. Ball goes underneath, forced in, and taken by Ray Mathis, the 6th man for Franklin.
Franklin played some good half-court defense that time. They were really aggressive.
Kenny McLean with the miss. World War III underneath. Taken by Lowenguth. All alone is Reinders. Sends it back to Wakili Moore. And in the scramble, they hang out of the ball.
Aquinas got a break there. The Franklin player going out of bounds. Reinders should have taken that ball right to the basket, not pass it back. He was in the paint. He should have just gone right to the bucket.
Incredibly noisy considering this is a lull in the action. Some 6,500 by some estimates here at the game tonight for the Section 5 AAA Championship. You don't see too many empty seats in this place right now as both teams, big draws in Section 5. Wakili Moore.
Good strong rebound by Mazzarella, but he couldn't hang on to it.
Kenny McLean bringing it up. Would like to please the fans on Norton Street. They're looking for their second Section 5 title in 3 years. This is their 3rd trip to the title game in a row. Last year, a heartbreaking loss to East. Ball is kicked out of bounds by Pat Moynihan, who just entered the game for the Aquinas Lil Irish. Washington loses the ball, an offensive foul on Tim Washington. Aquinas will take possession.
Tim Washington, that's his second. Substitution for the Lil Irish, number 32, Tim Reinders.
Eric Lowenguth with the ball for Aquinas. Down by 4, 18-14. Franklin in the lead. Reinders is fouled. Ray Mathis with his second.
That's not a good foul out there. The shot's not a good selection for Aquinas, and Mathis fouled him, so it's really giving Aquinas a chance to get the 2 points.
Both teams in the bonus situation. Reinders averages 8 points a game. The first is up and no good. Obviously, in the act of shooting, he'll get a second anyway. The shot is missed, but the rebound and the basket by Chris Thomas.
Poindexter did not block Thomas out when the shot was released. Thomas got in there, got the rebound, and put up a nice soft jumper.
And at the other end, a basket by Thomas of Franklin. Eric Thomas with the basket and the foul.
That was a good, strong drive to the basket by Thomas. Good pass. You see that went hard to the basket. Aquinas player got there late and was charged with the blocking foul.
As we mentioned before the game, Coach, Thomas should be a key if Franklin is to win this thing. 21-16. Franklin with their biggest lead. Eric Thomas with 8 points. Moynihan and Lowenguth running the offense. Inside, it's stolen by Ray Mathis, having a great game as a 6th man off the bench. And Moynihan once again kicks the ball. Franklin retains possession. 4:14 left first half. Franklin a 5-point lead, looking for more. Washington. And a jump ball is called. Some might have called that, in NBA terms, a loose ball foul. Coach, it looked like the Franklin player was reaching over to get the ball.
I thought Thomas had position, and Mathis came over the top also, Fred.
And with the possession clock, Franklin will keep the ball. Kenny McLean. And Franklin opens up their biggest lead, 23-16, 7 full points with 3:55 left in the first half. Reinders forces the ball. It's no good. And Franklin will roar the other way.
That was not a good shot at all, Fred.
Kenny McLean would love to make it a 9-point Quakers lead. He'll try it. Rebound underneath by Thomas, who makes it a 9-point lead.
Aquinas is going to have to be careful here now. They're going to have to slow things down here and make sure they work for a real good shot. They might need to get a timeout so this game doesn't get out of hand.
Thomas has become a one-man show. Eric Thomas, 10 points in the game, a number of steals, gets that one there, and he'll try, and Ray Mathis will try an air ball. Rebound Aquinas.
Good rebound.
Lowenguth is fouled. Eric Lowenguth trying to get his team back into this game. On the break here, Lowenguth tries to go all the way to the basket, Coach.
He's coming in. He looked across court to see if he could make a pass. It wasn't there. He saw the opening, went to the basket hard, and was fouled.
Kenny McLean hacks him, his first foul. Lowenguth to the line for 2. Three minutes left in the first half of the Section 5 championship game. A game that Aquinas has never won. Lowenguth makes both.
2 big points right there for Aquinas. Sort of stopped the run a little bit of Franklin.
Keith McLean back in the game now as Ray Mathis exits after some important play.
Yes, he was very instrumental in the time he was out there, getting some rebounds and stealing the ball.
Keith McLean back in the game, already looking to shoot. That's what he's paid to do. 17 points a game. That's why he's in the starting lineup and not on the bench. Kenny McLean, his twin brother, looking, shopping, finds Tim Washington, but it won't fall. Lowenguth with the rebound.
Lowenguth, he dropped down from that outside position on his own.
Lowenguth with the ball. Moynihan left side, inside to Mansarella. It won't fall.
That was a good shot. He had good position. Just couldn't get the ball to drop for him.
And Kenny McLean gets it to drop. And the foul on Wakili Moore. 27-18. Franklin trying to run away with the Section 5 AAA championship. Coach,
he pushes the ball up, Kenny. He saw that he couldn't take it to the basket. He pulled up and took a nice jumper, and he got fouled in the process.
McLean could make it a 10-point lead for Franklin. He does. Aquinas with just 4 points this entire quarter as they've watched Franklin take a 10-point lead. A foul after the basket there, after the free throw. So now Kenny McLean will go to the line, shooting the 1-and-1. Rebound, Tim Washington underneath. Stolen by Pat Moynihan. And a foul.
That was not a good foul by Kenny McLean. He should have been moving back on defense.
Bonus situation for Aquinas.
Did you see Moynihan coming down? McLean just reached in where he should have been getting back to play defense in the half court.
Moynihan will try to pull the Aquinas Lil Irish within 8 points. They're down by 10 with 2:15 left in the first half. Doesn't get the roll, and Torrey Poindexter with the rebound. Franklin quickly on the move. Keith McLean to twin brother Kenny.
Aquinas has missed some important foul shots that could keep this game closer than it is. Looks like Franklin wants to bring Aquinas out of that zone. Aquinas has gone to man now.
Kenny McLean running the show here with 1:44 left and a 10-point lead. They can afford to pull it out and watch Aquinas to look for a small opening. Keith McLean looking for that opening. He'll try it. Poindexter can't get the rebound. He's loose underneath. Poindexter.
That was a good effort by the Franklin team, especially Torrey Poindexter.
Torrey Poindexter gives Franklin a 12-point lead. 7 rebounds alone for Poindexter. He averages 19 a game. And amazingly, 6 of those 7 rebounds, Coach, were offensive rebounds.
They've been attacking the glass on the offense. There's no question about that, Fred. And I think that's the big reason they have this 12-point lead right now.
It would seem at this point, Coach, if you were on the Aquinas bench, that you're in real danger of getting blown out of this thing. What is Mike Ruff thinking right now? Just get to the locker room in one piece, or what are you trying to do?
I think he wants to make sure his team can remain calm out there and still play, try to play good defense. Not let it get any more out of control than it is, and then, as you say, regroup, come out in the second half.
Chris Thomas misses another of the many one-and-ones that Aquinas has had problems with. Franklin now with the ball, 1 minute left, first half, a 12-point lead. Would you hold for the last shot?
I think Franklin should hold for the last shot. With a 12-point lead, there's no reason to attack the basket.
And a turnover as Aquinas will get the ball on a 5-second violation. So 51 seconds left. Aquinas with the ball, probably going for one shot. Down by 12, 30-18. Franklin playing a very aggressive defense, but there's Thomas underneath. No good. Rebound, Thomas again, and he makes it. So 30-20. Franklin over Aquinas. The McLeans running the offense for Franklin as they have much of this season and some of last. Torrey Poindexter, top of the key, looking for that one last bucket before halftime. Oh! The basket is no good by Washington, but a foul. Tim Washington, an integral part of this offense today for Franklin. Averages 10 points a game, one of the tougher players on this team. Just as important, too, he averages 12 rebounds a game. And as you can see here, so tough underneath, refused to be denied. Will go to the line for one shot. So Washington misses the first of 2. He'll try to at least get 1 point more for Franklin before halftime. The second is good. 31-20, 22 seconds left. Franklin in the lead. Aquinas would love to have one more bucket before they go to the locker room. Inside to Mansarella, Lowenbruch right side. Reinders will lose the ball. Poindexter throws it away. And Aquinas will get it back with 2 seconds left. Very few seats empty in this building right now. Some 6,500 or so watching this AAA championship game. Wakili Moore at the buzzer. No. So Aquinas will go to the locker room. Down 31-20 to the Franklin Quakers. Franklin looking for their second sectional AAA title in 3 years. The Aquinas Lil Irish at least 12 points away from their very first sectional title. Quite a game so far, a game that was close much of the way until late in the second half. The pressure of Franklin's guards and 2 key players, Eric Thomas and Tim Washington, as well as off the bench, Ray Mathis, doing the job. Let's go right now to Dick O'Toole with Aquinas head coach Mike Ruff.
Mike, kind of a tough first half here. You're only down by 11, which isn't an impossible task by any stretch of the mean, especially with your ball club. Your team seemed to have a tough time at the foul line.
Right, I thought that was one of the keys. We got the ball inside. They're in a little bit of foul trouble, but we weren't able to convert our one-and-ones, and the foul line's a big part of the game. But we had a bad half, and we feel we're still in the game. We were down at Webster by 9, then 7 at half, and we came back, so we're going to come back fight in the second half.
It seems like Franklin's getting quite a few offensive rebounds or tipping the ball, keeping it alive. What do you think you're going to have to do to correct that?
Well, we definitely have to do a better job keeping them off the boards. They're very quick. Going to the basket, they slash in. We've got to do a better job keeping them off the boards.
Do you anticipate any kind of change offensively in the second half, looking to maybe get the ball in the hands of one particular player or try to maybe get the ball inside?
No, but we got to try to run them a little bit to 20 points for our team and a half. We got to get going to get some easy baskets. their zone's packing it in, and we're missing. So we've got to try to get our running game going.
Mike, thanks for stopping by. I know you want to get to your team. Good luck the second half. Now back to you, Fred.
Aquinas head coach Mike Ruff and Dick O'Toole, Edison Tech's head coach, joining us for this Section 5 broadcast today, as at halftime, the Franklin Quakers lead the Little Irish Aquinas 31-20. This TV 13 sports exclusive will continue in just a few moments.
There's a feeling in the air that you can't get anywhere except in Rochester. I taste 1,000 yesterdays and I love the magic waves of Rochester. From the rolling countryside, we share the growing pride each time you touch the sky. From where the waters flow to Lake Ontario, we're all good neighbors passing by. Makes no difference where I go, you're the best hometown I know. Hello, Rochester. Hello, Rochester. 13 loves you.
A partnership began in the 60s when the Beatles took the country by storm and the art world went pop. Dick Burt and Don Alhart started a career together on WOKR 13. Then came the 70s, gas lines and disco music, and the partnership continued. The 1980s, the yuppie arrived and the computer came home, and the partnership continues. Dick Burt and Don Alhart together in Rochester for 20 years of experience, credibility, and dependability, only on NewsCenter 13.
Your Sunday weather forecast at 11.
Renee Wynn. TV 13 Sports exclusive broadcast of the Section 5 AAA Championship basketball game, where every year at halftime, besides getting a look at some great basketball, we also get to talk about cheerleading. This year is no exception. We're talking about the AAA awards in Section 5 cheerleading, and we have the co-chairpersons for that event, Carol Olbeck and Kay Pullyblank. Ladies, would you like to present the award to the winner, please?
At the beginning of the season, there are 92 squads participating in the Section 5 basketball cheerleading tournament. Throughout the season, they're judged by the opposing cheerleading coaches at the basketball games. At the end of January, we tabulate the results and designate league champions. From this, we take the top 50% in each league, and these girls cheer off at a head-to-head competition at Honeoye Central on February 8th. We then pick the top 5 winners in each classification, and the AAA championship this year goes to Greece Olympia, and I'm very proud, and it gives me great pleasure to present this trophy to Val Snellgrove and the Greece Olympia cheerleaders.
Congratulations.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to both Kay and Carol for doing such an outstanding job this year. I know what a hard job it is. And I have to say that it's extremely exciting to win back-to-back championships. It's not often you get a chance to do this. I'd like to thank my athletic director, all of the parents that helped, and my husband Warren for putting up with all of this. And thank you for putting on such a wonderful tournament. We really appreciate it. All of us coaches do. Thank you.
Also, every year we have Coach of the Year. And this year, once again, for the 4th out of the last 5 years, Carol Olbeck was our Coach of the Year in AAA. Congratulations, Carol. Thank you.
Ladies, congratulations all around. Now let's get a quick look at the Greece Olympia cheerleaders.
Olympia! Go! Lights! Scratches! Feel! Hot tonight! Our spirits is hot! We are slugs! Hey! Blast out! Grease! Olympia! We'll have you out! Yeah!
We'll be back with more halftime activities in just a few seconds. You're watching the Section 5 AAA Championship basketball game exclusively on TV 13 Sports. Fred Cowgill with TV 13 Sports back at the War Memorial. We're at halftime of the Section 5 AAA Championship basketball game. The Franklin Quakers lead the Little Irish of Aquinas 31-20. Lots of other games to talk about for the next few moments, including the AA, A, and B championship games, all of which went on in the last 24 hours or so. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of those games.
Newark and head coach Gary Seeger had a lot on the line as AA top seed. Vengeance for an early exit from the tournament after being in a similar position a year ago. Plus, win or lose, this will be Seeger's last year. He's retiring. So the Reds in white didn't let Seeger or their fans down. Newark fought off for a 4-point halftime lead, then exploded. 5 were in double figures, including Jim Shear, who had a game-high 18 points. The Reds rolled to their 21st win in 22, beating Roth 67-52 for Newark's 6th sectional title. The Royals lost the title game a second straight year.
We feel great. I know I do, and I know he does.
Yeah, I can't explain it.
It was just such a team effort from the beginning of the season, and he was a very big part of the team. We held on and pulled away at the end. Great feeling.
In the first of Friday's War Memorial doubleheader, it was Wilson in white trying for back-to-back Class A titles against Avon. The Braves had been looking for this game all season, wanted to prove country ball as good as city, and their 11-point first-quarter lead seemed to back them up. Star Mike Raynard pumped in 16 points. But the Wildcats never panicked, slowly ate away at Avon's lead, so by the third quarter, they went for the throat. Michael Brown jammed home a game-high 17 points, sending Wilson to the Class A championship with a 61-50 win over Avon. The Braves' 24-year sectional title drought left bone dry.
The key was we went to man-to-man defense. Our guys were able to work the ball inside. We got them in foul trouble. But the intensity changed later in the last half of the game, but Avon really took it to us.
Clyde Savannah in white got all they wanted in the Class B title game with Cal Mum. Up by 4 at half, then down when Robert Gratton gives Cal Mum a 1-point lead, 36-35 with 2 of his 16 points. He was the Class B tourney MVP. More problems for the Golden Eagles. It was Cal Mum's Ray Deerkop hitting on a jumper. Cal Mum up by 3. Deerkop with a game-high 20 points. Then Clyde Savannah got it going behind Robbie Smith. Smith gets loose underneath for his team-high 17 points. And the story for the Golden Eagles this season, Terry Brown going for that state all-time scoring record. He just had 16 points, falls 31 short of the state mark, but he helps Clyde stay in the game. The Golden Eagles then ice it when Brown on the steal, a great defensive play, goes to Paul Sharp underneath. Clyde Savannah wins the Class B title as they beat Cal Mum 68-54 in the Section 5 Class B title game. And that Class B game was the second of a doubleheader this afternoon that included the Class C championship game, possibly one of the best games in the entire tournament, as Harley Allendale Columbia played Geneva DeSales. Let's go to highlights of that one. Well, we understand we have a few seconds here to kill before the tape comes up. So we'd like to tell you again that Franklin is in the lead here in the AAA finals of the Section 5 basketball championship. Once again, the score 31-20. And now we'll go to the Class C highlights. C title game. It was Harley Allendale Columbia in white in a fight for their lives with Geneva DeSales. The second half, it was the DeSales Saints in a big comeback. Mike Donahue hitting at a jumper and getting fouled to tie the score at 34. Later, it's the Saints' Sam Dimitro hitting a long jumper to put DeSales up by 8. But then the Harley Allendale Columbia Braves come back on the fast break. Maurice Carter lays it in, gets the foul, and the Braves are on the move. Later, it's Harley Allendale Columbia's Chris Ray, the tournament MVP, getting 2 of his 12 points and putting Harley up by 4. But DeSales fights back. It goes back and forth much of the game. This free throw by Joe Giorgiani cuts the lead to 1 point with just 6 seconds left. DeSales gets the ball back with 5 left, and they get the potential game-winning shot by Mike Donahue as the clock went out. No. So it is Harley Allendale Columbia taking the Class C championship over Geneva DeSales 49-48. We'll be back with more from the War Memorial in the Section 5 AAA Championship game in just a few seconds. A TV 13 sports exclusive. Stay with us.
I'm Rick Dorschel with a special offer from upstate New York's largest selling Toyota dealer, Dorschel Toyota. Right now, you can save up to $400 on Tercels, $500 on Corollas, and up to $600 on Camrys. See Dorschel and save yourself up to $1,000 on Cressidas and Celica Supras, and save up to $1,500 on Toyota vans and trucks. Dorschel's inventories will go fast, and special discounts can't last forever. Dorschel Toyota, home of the guaranteed low price, on West Henrietta Road between Southtown and Marketplace Mall.
I depend on my interest income. So when I hear about a sensible way to earn extra interest, I look into it, like this new Passbook Plus savings account from Citibank. It pays 6.5% interest instead of 5.5%. Oh, I don't like change just for the sake of change, but for 6.5%, I'd switch banks any day.
Earn 6.5% on your savings. Get Passbook Plus only at Citibank.
Back at the War Memorial, where Franklin leads the Little Irish of Aquinas 31-20 in the Section 5 AAA Championship basketball game. But there are many other sports going on tonight, and Mike Edine has been kind enough to be back at the studio gathering it all for us. Michael, take it away.
Okay, Fred, we're going to talk hockey to begin with. The Amherst are in action tonight up at St. Catharines. It's the first of a home-and-home series. They'll be back at the War Memorial against the Saints tomorrow night. Bob McNamara got the start this evening, but he's having his problems. The Saints lead at 5-2 now. They're in the second period. Warren Harper and Mike Anderson have scored the goals for the Amherst. We'll have highlights of this one at 11 o'clock on NewsCenter 13 Sports. In the National Hockey League, the Sabres are up at Quebec, hoping to rebound from last night's 6-2 loss to the Nordique. But the Sabres, well, in the Nordique, they're even right now. They're at 2 apiece. And that game also in the second period. College hockey, Geneseo State is playing at Plattsburgh. That's the opening round of the ECAC Division III Championships, and we'll have a report on that game as well at 11. College basketball, Syracuse is winding up its regular season with a game in Hartford. They're taking on Connecticut. The Orangemen with an outside shot at the Big East regular season title, and the Orangemen are up 40-22 at halftime, but it doesn't matter because St. John's has already clinched the Big East regular season title. The Redmen with an 82-70 win over St. John's or over Seton Hall this evening, and that is a final. We'll have highlights of that game at 11 o'clock. In wrestling, Brockport State trying to capture the NCAA Division III Championship. That tournament going on in New Jersey. We hope to have a report at 11, as well as the New York State Finals going on over in Syracuse. Clarence Rose and Andy Bean share the third-round lead at the Honda Classic down in Coral Springs, Florida. Both are at 1 under par. Laura Baugh continues to lead the LPGA Uniden Classic in Costa Mesa, California. She's 4 up on Mary Beth Zimmerman. Kathy Morris has fallen 9 shots off the pace. Join me later on NewsCenter 13 Sports for all the highlights and scores. Now back to the Class AAA Championship, Franklin and Aquinas. Here's Fred Cowgill and Dick O'Toole at the War Memorial.
Thank you, Michael, for that comprehensive sports report. Actually, I'm sitting here with Section 5 President Gene Schreiber. Gene, quite a year for Section 5. What exactly is going on this time of year? Obviously, the basketball is just finishing up. What else can we expect in the next couple of months?
All right, really, this is one of the highlights of the year. Also, at the present time, we're engaged in the sectional activities. We're swimming, we have track, and also we are starting the deal for the girls' basketball tournament. On the state level, they're going in for their wrestling and gymnastics and skiing. So we offer an awful lot of activities for the boys and girls in Section 5.
Of course, basketball is probably one of the most popular sports that go on during the season in terms of fan enjoyment and the amount of people that come out to the games. Is there one that we don't hear a lot about that's gaining in popularity recently?
Well, one is starting to come along is boys volleyball. Also, we're involved in the bowling program. Sometimes they look at it as being a minor sport, but also it's increasing as far as participation is taking place in the state.
Peter, it's great to have you here. A great tournament going on this year. Looks like we're in for quite a second half.
It looks great. I'm very, very pleased that we have such a great turnout. and such enthusiastic fans.
Section 5 President Pete Schreiber, I should say, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, now we'll swing over to the other side here and head coach Dick O'Toole. Dick, you've had a chance to pour over these statistics here in the last few minutes. We've got some highlights to show. In fact, I got a list right over here, so we'll talk about it for a second. Early in the game, Aquinas and Franklin very close. Chris Thomas for Aquinas playing very tough.
Thomas is a strong player. He took that ball, he went right to the basket with a good power layup.
Thomas, the leading scorer for Aquinas with 9 points in the first half. Later in the game, Chris Thomas again, this time putting Aquinas up for one of their last leads. That was a score of 10-8.
Yes, Thomas has been the man they've gone to quite a bit during the season. He's had a good game for him. He's going to need some help, though. He's not had too much support from the rest of his players.
A lot of surprises on the Franklin side. All we talked about pregame was Poindexter. One guy we did talk about that came through was Eric Thomas, a guy that just really clutched out, had 10 points in the first half.
Thomas played a very strong inside game for Franklin in the first half. He went to the offensive boards. He got some rebounds. He put him back up. He was getting fouled. He's definitely caused problems for Aquinas in the first half.
Thomas's big strength was inside, and later in the first half we have a great highlight here that shows Thomas's great action underneath. Mansarella for Aquinas really outgunned underneath all these big people.
This is the pass from Longuth to Thomas, who pulled up and took the short baseline jumper off the break.
So the game has been quite interesting from a standpoint of surprises that we've seen. Eric Thomas for Franklin been so tough there. The two Thomas guys, opposite teams, playing so well.
Yes, they are. They've no question that Eric Thomas has probably made the difference of this game being 11-point spread at this point. Chris Thomas, I think, is playing his normal game. He's a strong inside player, and he's getting rebounds. I think the surprise has been, Keith McLean has no points at this time. His outside shot is not going in, and Coach Jackson had him out early in the game. If he should get hot, it's just going to become another problem for Aquinas to handle.
One last highlight, and this is an important one, when Torrey Poindexter came up with the eventual 12-point lead for Franklin.
There's the drive to the basket. Didn't go in. Poindexter got inside, kept the ball alive, got the rebound, and powered it up, and Manzarella fouled him, and the ball went in for the three-point play.
All right, Coach, we have to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with the third quarter highlights. Stay with us.
Hey, Vern. Boy, I'm sure glad you switched from that Uncola. Sprite's everything that stuff is. Clear, clean, caffeine-free. But Sprite tastes better, because only Sprite has liming. Know what I mean? Pop me another one of them bad boys. How about it? Vern! Vern, my hands, Vern! Vern, my...
True Value Hardware Stores present True Test Painting Tips with Uncle Bob.
Hi. There's a lot of great reading here on this shelf, but you'll also find some really important reading on this shelf. This is where a successful painting project begins. So read the label directions carefully. And when it comes to labels, these are the ones to look for, because no matter what type of painting you're planning, you'll find the True Test paint to do the project right, exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Hamburgers are like trains. At some places, the hamburger makes several stops. First in a box, then under the heat lamp, and finally in the holding bin. That's the local hamburger. At Wendy's, your hamburger goes straight to you while it's fresh. So why take the local hamburger when you can get a Wendy's Express?
Hot stuff. You know where to get all these steaming, hot-stuffed baked potatoes. Hot, so hot. You get them at Wendy's.
And we're back at the War Memorial, where starting third quarter action, Aquinas, an alternate possession, takes the ball first. They are down 31-20 in the Section 5 AAA championship game to the Franklin Quakers. Wakili Moore blocked by Tim Washington.
There's the great jumping ability of Tim Washington. It looked like Moore had an open shot.
The miss by Keith McLean, the scramble.
That's good hustle by Thomas down on that floor, going after that ball. I'm sorry, it was Washington.
Kenny McLean, no. Rebound underneath by Tim Reinders. Lowenguth will bring it back out quickly. A wrap of the first half stats. The leading scorer for Franklin, Tim Washington, with 11 points. And Chris Thomas, the leading scorer for Aquinas, with 9. And there's Thomas, who loses the ball, but a foul.
They got the ball inside to Thomas. He turned, squared up to the basket, made his move. And he is a strong player to get the shot off, but he got fouled. Tom, a pass inside to Thomas down low. Makes the move. And he's fouled on the way up.
Thomas has been so key to their attack in this game particularly. And the first one rolls in. Thomas, their second leading scorer.
Aquinas needs that if they're going to get back in the ball game.
Both are good. And Aquinas is back to within 9, 31-22. Kenny McLean with the ball.
Aquinas has come out man-to-man to start the second half.
Traveling. Keith McLean with the turnover. The noise almost deafening as there aren't too many empty seats in the War Memorial. An estimated crowd of 6,500 on the edge of their seats waiting to see who's going to win the AAA championship game. Aquinas would like it to be theirs for the first time in 60 years, but they lose control of the ball. Tim Washington and Franklin on the break.
That was not a good pass on the inside by Reinders.
And the ball stolen. It's Thomas. Misses the dunk, but Lowenguth is there and misses the layup. Franklin the other way. Kenny McLean travels, but it is not called. Coach, it looked like he slipped there at least a step.
Yes, it did, but he's so quick sometimes it's hard to tell whether it was a travel or just a regular movement.
His brother, Keith McLean, misses the shot. There's a foul underneath. An offensive foul.
Chris Thomas on that previous play missed that layup. We've seen that time and time again where players have gone in, tried to dunk the ball, where they should be just putting that ball up and getting that sure 2 points.
It appeared he wasn't quite sure if he should dunk it or not. The last second there was a hesitation.
Yes, he seemed like he wasn't sure, but he should have gone for the sure 2, especially with his team behind.
Aquinas looking for that high percentage shot. Wakili Moore, their leading scorer, who has been all but shut down in this game. Reinders still shopping for an opening. So is Lowenguth. And Moore will take it. In and out.
Nice rebound by Mazzarella, but he couldn't get the follow-up to go in.
And here's McLean at the other end. No. Washington will try and gets it.
Thomas kept that ball alive by tipping it out to the foul line area.
33-22. Aquinas now down by 11 again. That has been Franklin's biggest lead. The ball stolen right out of Reinders' hands. McLean with the ball. Kenny looking for a spot. And a foul. Tim Reinders fouling Kenny McLean. And Dan Moynihan into the game replacing Reinders. It seems, Coach, any time that Reinders makes a mistake, Moynihan is immediately put into the game.
Well, Reinders hasn't been very steady tonight on the floor.
A big scramble for that ball underneath. This has been a common event during this game. Really fighting for control of the ball. Franklin with it right now. Ray Mathis now in the game and with a bucket.
Nice baseline jump shot.
Lowenguth and his team, the Little Irish, down their biggest deficit. 13 points. Wakili Moore would love to can one now. He's shopping for one. Moynihan has no place to go. Mansarella, the center, who has struggled with all those tall Franklin players underneath, including Torrey Poindexter. Wakili Moore loses control of the ball, gets it back, but can't connect. It's Thomas, yes. A big basket, Coach.
Yes, it was. That was good hustle. Mazzarella tips the ball out. Thomas was in the right spot to pick it up and put it in for 2.
McLean stolen and back again and again. Moynihan with the ball.
Moynihan should be looking to get the ball down and give it up.
Mansell can't connect. A foul underneath. It's Moynihan.
Minus foul number 22, Pat Moynihan.
Moynihan comes over the top for his second foul. And Franklin gets the ball with an 11-point lead. 3:50 left, third quarter. 35-24, Franklin in control. Just a little over a quarter away from their second AAA championship in 3 years. Washington, no basket, a foul. It appears Wakili Moore is the man who caused the problem. Pat Moynihan, credited with the foul, his third. So, Coach, now the question, the shuttling in and out of Reinders and Moynihan, they both may be getting in foul trouble. Moynihan with 3, Reinders just sat down with 2.
They're both playing very hard, but they're not playing under control. And I think this is why they've gotten themselves in foul problems, also committing some of those turnovers. An interesting stat here so far is this quarter, Aquinas is 0 for 5 in layups alone, and Paul Mazzarella, a player that I felt would have to have a good game for Aquinas, is 1 for 7 from the field this game.
Mazzarella has struggled with all those big men that Franklin has put in, including Troy Poindexter, who dishes it off to Ray Mathis.
That was a nice pass by Poindexter.
Eric Thomas actually with the shot there, and he is hacked and will go to the line. Thomas again, another of the big men. There have been so many for Franklin underneath. You know, we talked about the guards early in the game, the McLean brothers. Yet in your pregame comments really have come to life that Poindexter and Thomas will be big keys for this win.
Well, when you're a guard-oriented team, you win and lose by the outside shot. And if the shot's not going in, a lot of times it can spell defeat. Unless you got somebody on that inside that can pick up the slack, which Thomas has done and Washington so far tonight for Franklin.
Thomas has helped put Franklin into a 13-point lead. Moynihan, partially blocked. Franklin on the break, Thomas with the ball, can't connect. Mathis with the ball, and he will shoot and hit. A 15-point
Aquinas needs a timeout. They need a timeout right now.
Franklin already in the bonus situation. Aquinas down by 15 and potentially could be getting themselves into foul trouble. So, Coach, you're now in the huddle after a play like this. What do you do after seeing guys like Thomas eat you up underneath?
Well, I think Coach Ruff's going to have to just tell his players they're just going to have to keep playing hard and don't give up. Just tighten up a little bit more. Block out, rebound. Look to push the ball off the floor.
I'm not worried about our defense. Offensively, you kids got to look to shoot or penetrate or dish off. I'm not saying rush it, but hell, you passed up shots. Okay? And let's start giving them some fake. If you don't want to shoot right away, give them some head fakes. Get them jumping. So they're not ready to jump to block your shot every time. Catch it and give them a pump fake. And see if you jump. Then next time, jump shot. Or if they get up in the air, drive in. Good shot. Okay? So give some shot fakes. Shot fakes. Hey. Heads up. Like 1, 2, 3.
Coach, not an unreasonable question to ask at this point, as strong as Franklin has looked. How much of a chance does Aquinas have to get back into this game?
Well, I think they still have a chance. There's a lot of time left, and they've played hard all year. They know what it's like to work hard, and they're not going to quit. They've come this far, and they're going to go hard right to the end, whether they win or lose.
Low and goof, it falls. A very big basket for Aquinas.
Shot was there.
26.
Shot was there. He took it. He has to take it if they're going to give it to him.
McLean, Poindexter, no place to go.
Aquinas still in their man-to-man defense.
Washington right side will bring it back out. Mathis Mathis drives and pops. No. Mathis gets his own rebound and misses. And we'll try again. 3 shots. Poindexter, a 4th shot for Franklin. Washington, a foul underneath. How can you win a game, Coach, when you're not getting the rebounding underneath that they seem to be lacking? Aquinas, do you start boxing people out? How do you get those guys away from the hoop?
Well, boxing out would probably help out Aquinas a lot. Right now, they're not boxing the Franklin players out, and Franklin, with the great jumping ability that they have, just going up and keeping that ball up on that board until finally they either score or get fouled. At this point in time, Aquinas has not done a good job blocking out. They didn't in the first half, which I thought was one of the reasons that Franklin was able to get up.
Tim Washington with a momentary problem with his glasses in the melee underneath. Washington chatted with me about that on Thursday and prefers the glasses to the contacts, as his eyes are very irritated by contacts. The first of 2 is good. A 14-point Franklin lead with 2:07 left in the third quarter. Both are good. And Franklin is up to a 15-point lead, 41-26. Aquinas really looking for a very big bucket right here. It's Lowenguth.
Aquinas is being patient. Even though they're down, they know they have to get good percentage shots if they're going to be able to get back in this ball game.
And traveling is called. Aquinas shuttling their lineup a little bit, putting a reserve Mike Whitfield in the game, a sophomore guard, number 25, to try to shake things up just a bit.
By bringing in Whitfield, I think Coach Rupp's looking for a little more quickness in his man-to-man defense.
And he gets it right there as Whitfield steals the ball from Washington. Lowenguth. Left side to Joaquin Moore. Underneath.
Nice pass off inside to Thomas down the baseline, who took the ball up strong for the 2.
Chris Thomas pulls the Little Irish within 13 points of Franklin. Just a little over a minute left in the third quarter. Kenny McLean will bring it back out again. 3 minutes.
It looked like Kenny McLean double dribble out there, but it went unnoticed.
Poindexter left side. They're looking for one shot. 45 seconds left. They're looking for the best thing they can find, and why not with a 13-point lead?
That's right. At this point, Aquinas has to really be the aggressive team.
Eric Thomas.
Real nice pass by Washington inside to Thomas, who took it up strong for the 2.
Underneath for Aquinas. The basket and the foul.
What a nice look pass by Mazzarello. The defense was up a little bit. Thomas slipped in behind on the low box. Good pass. Thomas for 2.
So Thomas, who has really been a one-man show.
On the point, sees Thomas underneath, gets it inside, and he makes it and gets fouled.
But he cannot connect on the free throw. 43-30, 19 seconds left.
Aquinas. They've missed quite a few tonight.
Six seconds left. Washington gets his own rebound. No good. The basket will count. The basket will count. Eric Thomas giving Franklin a 15-point third quarter lead, 45-30 over Aquinas. This is a Section 5 AAA championship game, and what a great one we're having, too. Here's a replay of it, Coach, and what a key basket. Thomas right at the buzzer.
Thomas found an opening, put the ball up, didn't go, fouled it. Because no one blocked him out. Ball came off again. Once again, nobody blocked out Thomas. He puts the ball back up for 2.
Franklin, 1 quarter away from the AAA championship. A game you're seeing exclusively on TV 13 Sports. We will be back in just a few moments.
Video Theater is the place to go for home entertainment specials on TVs from Sony, Quasar, and Sanyo. Audio equipment from Walkmans to total rack systems. VCRs with every feature you could ever dream of to complete home entertainment centers. Our salespeople are the most knowledgable in the area. Our service technicians are the best in the business. And don't forget about Video Theater's free 5-year warranty. Save time, money, and gas. Stop at Southtown or Stone Ridge Plaza and you'll see why we're
the best show in town.
NewsCenter 13 Sports defines the drama, the drive, the dynamics of sports 7 days a week with Fred Cowgill and Mike Hedin, only on NewsCenter 13. The more you watch, the more you understand.
Back to live action, where Franklin has just scored again for their biggest lead of the ball game, a 17-point lead. Franklin 47-30 over Aquinas. Just over 7 minutes left in the AAA championship, and Kenny McLean with the steal for more for Franklin.
That's two good plays that McLean has made. First he saw Mathis inside, made a nice pass for two, and now he comes up with the steal and takes it the length of the court for the 2-point layup.
A foul underneath, and Wakili Moore will go to the line. Franklin, who led by 11 at halftime, opened up their lead to now a 19-point lead. Wakili Moore is trying to get Aquinas back in it, coach, and there he gets hacked. So Moore will go to the line to shoot two.
Aquinas was 2 for 9 in layup attempts in the third quarter, Fred, and they were only 3 for 8 on shots inside the paint. They are getting the ball inside, but they are not able to convert, and that's hurt them at this point.
And now a timeout is called by Franklin. 7:18 left in the game. Franklin leading by 18 points. Really the only guy that's gotten it going for Aquinas, coach, Chris Thomas, who had 8 of 10 third quarter points for Aquinas. Really the only guy that was able to hit anything with all those missed layups.
This is true. If it wasn't for Thomas, I think we'd probably be looking at a much bigger differential in the score right now. He needs help. Mansarella really hasn't scored the points he needs to. Wakili Moore seems not to be really in the offensive flow. And these are players that must produce if Aquinas is going to have a chance to win this ball game.
One guy that I'm surprised we haven't seen for Aquinas, especially with Mansarella struggling, is Brian Mackey. They talk about the problems with height underneath and the fact that Mansarella's been boxed in so much. Mackey, a 6'5" junior, would seem to be the answer.
Well, I think Coach Ruff knows that Mansarella's had some good games. He's the senior, he's got the experience. I think at this point in time, he just has to go with the more experienced players and hope that, they can pull it out.
Franklin or Aquinas being out-rebounded by Franklin, 28-18, and a 18-point lead. So
Yes.
important to this whole game.
Franklin's done a real good job on the boards.
Here again, we see a replay where Franklin has showed their effectiveness.
Here's McLean, sees Thomas inside for the easy two. Real nice pass, good look.
Wakili Moore to the line for the second of that two-shot foul. He made the first, he makes the second. So 49-32, Franklin over Aquinas.
Aquinas looks like they've gone into a 2-2-1 full court zone press. I wouldn't be surprised to see them drop into the man after that. They're going to look probably for some trapping situations. Get a turnover, 5-second, or passively pick off a pass.
Kenny McLean will now go to the line at the other end after a foul. Interestingly, Coach, very few people have gone home despite the, at times, 19-point Franklin lead.
Well, this is the first time Aquinas has been here, and, the fans want to support them, the alumni, they're proud of what their team has done. And I think they'll stay right here to the end no matter what the outcome.
McLean makes the first of two. An 18-point Franklin lead. McLean could bring it back up to the biggest the Quakers have had it all night. He does. Lowenguth with the ball. Moynihan left side. They'll try to do it again. Moore to Moynihan. To Lowenguth. Inside, stolen by Poindexter for Franklin.
Good defense by Torrey Poindexter. He anticipated the pass and stepped in front.
McLean with the ball, top of the key. Kenny McLean to Brother Keith. The ball does not fall, but a foul. Franklin just one change since that last time out. Ivan Thomas entering the game.
I think Thomas is in there just to give Washington a little breather. Washington has played a fine ball game for Franklin tonight.
Franklin has only missed 2 of 14 free throws, make it 2 of 15. Aquinas certainly has struggled there, Coach.
There's no doubt about that, Fred. I think we'd have a much closer game if Aquinas could have made just half of their foul shots.
That's exactly what they've made. Actually, 7 of 13 Aquinas has. They've missed a bunch, though.
Yes, and some of those were front ends or 1-and-1s, which mean more points.
Thomas cannot make it connect for Aquinas. And Ivan Thomas with the rebound. McLean with the ball. 6:26 left. A 21-point lead for Franklin, their biggest lead of the night. Ivan Thomas inside. And the ball is taken out of bounds. Franklin will get it back. Eric Thomas tried to connect, but the ball is knocked out of his hands. And Keith McLean will bring it back out and start over again. 21-point lead for Franklin. They've got all the time in the world.
They don't have to rush anything.
And a foul. Poindexter hacked from behind. It appears it'll go to Mansarella.
Number 45, Paul.
And Mansarella will leave the game as Tim Reinders comes in. Another look at that play, Coach, from moments ago. Really just no choice but to hack him at that point, trying to get that ball back. First a look at Poindexter sinking the free throw. And the 1-and-1. He'll get another chance. A 22-point Franklin lead. Mansarella just chopped right down on him, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Poindexter got the ball, and he was facing the basket. Mansarella got caught behind him, and he had no choice but to foul him or let Poindexter go to the basketball.
Left side. No good. Wakili Moore cannot connect.
Aquinas is getting one shot, and it's an outside shot. They're not getting the ball inside, and if you live by the outside, you can also die by it.
Ivan Thomas hangs onto the ball. He'll take a shot at it. 56-32, Franklin over Aquinas. And remember, Aquinas beat Franklin earlier this season in their own gym. Stolen by Thomas on the break to Keith McLean, who loses the ball and gets it back. Now bring it out and start it over. Coach, do you think the big court has something to do with Aquinas' problems compared to their win against Franklin at their own gym, a smaller gym?
No, I don't think so. I just think that Franklin is playing much better tonight than Aquinas.
Reinders
just seems to be a little tentative.
Moynihan with the block. Aquinas with the ball. Reinders, a desperation shot won't go, and Kenny McLean will go the other way. Coach Mike Ruff, sort of unhappy about things, actually getting out of his chair, but no technical is called. As we mentioned prior to the game, you cannot leave your seat this year in any high school game in the country without an automatic bench technical and 2 fouls. Coach Ruff did get up, but the refs didn't notice or didn't want to call it.
Well, I think at this point, unless the coach is actually questioning an official, they're not going to really say anything at this point in time in the game, even though the rule does state that you should be sitting down.
In fact, they may be chatting with him about that right now. Of course, no one could really blame him for being a bit upset, being down now 56-32, a 24-point deficit with just 4.5 minutes left in the game. Aquinas has not hit one bucket this quarter, Coach.
They've become a frustrated team out there, as we saw a couple of their shots were really not good basketball shots.
Let's take a look at the huddle and see what they have to say.
Timmy, Moynihan, this time, start to come up here. You come over, we'll give him that half. Don't even bring up to me. Is this half court? Right, just half court. All right? Let's go. let's go 13 to 13 then. But on our 13 half court, we gotta go all out. Go all out. I'm gonna give you guys like 30-second rest now. So go all out. All right. 13 press.
Okay, Coach, you want to translate that for us?
Let's go.
He's
2 minutes. Keep your heads up. Play hard.
Half-court press, and then he'll probably fall into his man-to-man after that if they can't get a turnover. He wants to try to put as much pressure on Franklin as he possibly can, knowing that Franklin doesn't have to push the ball up the floor.
Much of the Aquinas student body is standing, what apparently is for the remainder of the game, to show their support for the Aquinas basketball team. McLean underneath for Franklin. He's hacked.
That's the quickness of the Franklin team and McLean. He just went by 2 Aquinas players and got down the baseline for that short shot, and he got fouled. Here it is, just right by 2 Aquinas players, put the jumper up and got fouled.
Whitfield back in the game for Aquinas. Tim Reinders going out. Aquinas had 2 rousing pep rallies late this week to show just how much they care about their basketball team. A school that, while it is known for football, has a great place in their heart for this basketball team. These guys have not gotten a great deal of respect all year, despite pushing then unbeaten East into overtime. And then in the sectional tournament, brought down the Oriental Express after 19 straight wins. Keith McLean hitting for Franklin, 58-32.
Those 2 foul shots have made Franklin 19 for 22 from the foul line, Fred, and you can't really do much better than that. And in the championship game, that's the kind of shooting from the line you like to see as a coach.
Basket by Mike Whitfield. In fact, Coach, it was that foul shooting a year ago that brought Franklin down. If you recall, in the second half, they blew a big second-half lead as East came back on their poor foul shooting. The Orientals had great foul shooting and ended up winning in double overtime.
Yes, it was. Then we had the 1-3-1 half court, and it did put Franklin into a turnover. See if they can cash in. Aquinas.
Underneath, Pat Moynihan.
Thomas with a nice strong rebound off of Moynihan's miss, and he gets fouled on the play.
Chris Thomas, the star for Aquinas tonight in a very difficult game. A game that Franklin has been swarming on. One great player goes out, another great player comes in. They have been playing as good as the Franklin team of 2 years ago that won the sectional title, and it appears they might do it again. A 24-point lead. Just under 4 minutes left in the game. Thomas hits. He hits both.
That was a nice shot there, that second one.
Aquinas has only 5 points only 16 points since halftime. And almost 2 full quarters of play.
They've had a tough time putting the ball in. There's some good Aquinas pressure. They had the turnover, but they couldn't control it.
Tim Washington can't connect. And Eric Lowenguth underneath with the rebound. Thomas at the other end.
Nice move to the basket by Thomas and a nice touch on the layup.
Franklin brings it out. Lowenguth pressuring. Thomas pressuring. And,
nice play by Moore. Moore tipped the ball and it went off of Keith McLean out of bounds. Good hustle by Wakili Moore.
A 20-point lead with 3 minutes left to play. Franklin over Aquinas. Just a few moments away from their second sectional title in 3 years. Whitfield cannot connect. A foul underneath. An offensive foul. Franklin will get the ball back.
They called Paul Manzarella for pushing off inside.
And
there's
obviously
the shot.
The crowd is not pleased with it.
He came in, pushed off with his left arm.
That's his third. Technical has been assessed to the Aquinas bench.
And head coach Mike Ruff and the bench of Aquinas has been assessed a 2-shot bench technical. I did notice Mike saying a few things after that last foul was called on the Aquinas offense. Obviously, he wasn't too crazy about what was called. So Poindexter gets 2 freebies.
was the 1-and-1 on the foul. This is now the technical foul being shot.
The noise near deafening right behind us as the Franklin crowd is ready to party on Norton Street tonight. McLean for the second. 60-38. A 22-point lead with just under 3 minutes left to play.
While we have a minute here, we can just mention that the officials, Tom Ward and Sandy Swindle, have done an excellent job tonight. They have not really been a factor in the outcome of this game so far, and that's really the way it should be. They've made some excellent calls. They've been in position all night.
Moynihan underneath.
Real nice play.
And a foul.
Got fouled. There's a play right there where the Franklin player should have just let him have the 2 points.
All guards, team number 25, Tim Washington.
Here it is, nice pass inside. Moynihan going down.
25.
Puts the layup.
Washington, that's his fourth.
One thing you don't want to do at this time if you're Franklin is to stop the clock.
Moynihan hits. They are within 19 with 2.5 left. Keith McLean with the ball, and they're going to try to eat up what they have left. And McLean is hacked by Thomas.
Minus foul number 42, Chris Thomas, that's his second.
2:27 left in the game. A game that, after being quite even early, has been dominated by the Franklin Quakers. And not just by the McLean brothers at the guards. In fact, they have really just handed the ball underneath and let a bunch of forwards and centers do the job. Poindexter with rebounds. Tim Washington on the wing forward. That one doesn't go. And underneath, finally it is taken over by Aquinas. Lowenguth to Moynihan.
Pass by Lowenguth.
Goaltending.
Goaltending. The ball was still on the rim. Franklin player went up and touched the ball, and Aquinas credit with the basket.
So Moynihan, despite the fact the ball doesn't go in, will get the 2 points.
And Poindexter on the goaltender.
60-43, a 17-point Franklin lead. Washington is fouled as he brings it up for the Quakers.
Aquinas is almost forced to foul now if they are going to have any kind of a change. Unfortunately for Aquinas tonight, Franklin has been red hot at that foul line, so I don't know if it's going to really make any difference at this point.
Tim Washington up for the 1-and-1 for Franklin. Both teams in the bonus.
Substitution for Aquinas into the game, number 20, John LeConte.
John LeConte in the game now for Aquinas. Possibly getting some sectional experience here for his team for next year. Again, Mike Ruff, a question mark whether he'll be back at Aquinas next year after taking a teaching job at Fairport High School. So this could be his last hurrah with the Aquinas Little Irish. Whitfield is hacked as he goes up for Aquinas.
There was a nice pass by Moynihan inside to Whitfield.
Chris Thomas, the star again for Aquinas today. He has hit for 23 of their 43 points.
There's the replay, and you can see that he was definitely fouled. They could have used that 2 points on the layup, though.
Whitfield will try to bring them 2 points closer. We've talked about it much of the game. Those free throws have really cost the Little Irish. 61-44, 2 minutes left. Torrey Poindexter all alone, the ball stolen from behind, knocked out of bounds by Moynihan.
That was good hustle by Pat Moynihan. Poindexter was going to get the easy 2.
Inbounds to McLean. And we're going to go the other way. You know, Coach, we talked to many of the players before this game. One we talked to, Torrey Poindexter, has been a star underneath. Talked about how slow they started this year and how important it was to come back from this as we watch Chris Thomas go to the line for Aquinas. He mentioned it was very important to play for Franklin this year and to win this title.
Well, this year is like that. We wanted more. I think we wanted more than we wanted it last year. And, you know, everybody's playing together now. We started off slow, but we're coming on strong right now at the end of the season. Everybody's playing together.
And obviously Franklin is about to win their second title in 3 years. And another basket for Franklin. Number 4, Mark Brown with the hoop. They go the other way. John LeConte with the ball, loses the ball. Washington the other way to McLean all alone. (65-45), a 20-point Franklin lead. 1.5 minutes left in the game. LeConte hits. Mark Brown with the ball for Franklin. And timeout is called by Franklin. You know, Coach, another of the many interviews we did right before this game, actually Thursday afternoon at Franklin High, was with Keith McLean, a guy that has had a lot to say the last few years in Franklin's trips to the finals. In fact, he talked about the differences in last year's team versus this year's team.
Last year our team was like much quicker, you know. Like we had more talent last year, and like we had a better bench coming off, you know. And like this starting five, you know, it's not fast as it was like last year, you know. So the thing we got to do is play with the team we got now.
So Keith McLean, somewhat prophetic about the differences in last year's team. The fact that they lost in double overtime last year. Some incentive this year, Coach, and it appears that, well, in fact, it's all but on the board, a 65-47 lead that Franklin has won their second title in 3 years.
Yes, and these the players for Franklin, you know, this is their turn to shine in the big game. Although they were part of the team last year, some of them, now it's their time. They're the starters, they're the players, and it's important for them to play well.
Okay, action a little over 1 minute left, and McLean tries to inbound for Franklin. Torrey Poindexter with the ball. Will go to Brown. Underneath. And hacked is Curtis Nash, just in the game for Franklin. Coach Trent Jackson trying to get many of his players some sectional experience. The same for Aquinas head coach Mike Ruff, who's sending in many of his bench players right now. In the game, number 15, Paul Mayer for Aquinas. Mass substitutions with 1 minute left in the game, a 65-47 Franklin lead. Nash misses the first of 2. Joseph Connor now in the game for Franklin. Dan Moynihan leaving for Aquinas. Torrey Poindexter and Keith McLean leaving for Aquinas. And number 40 for Aquinas. Into the game now, Matt Lynn. And number 50, Sean Schiano. Chris Thomas exits for Aquinas after a stellar game, 24 points to the moment. It appears he is done for the evening. A game-high 24 points of the 47 that Aquinas has scored. That, of course, unofficial until the game is complete.
This apparent loss, obviously, is really not indicative of the type of season that Aquinas has had. They've had an excellent season. Coach Ruff has done a super job with his team, and there's no reason for Aquinas to feel any kind of letdown.
On this play, Brian Mackey is hacked, one of the many substitutions by Coach Ruff. He goes to the line and makes the first of 2. The entire Aquinas Little Irish student body has been standing since just past halftime to show their loyalty for this team despite being down by some 17 points.
Yes, Aquinas has played hard. The fans have stayed right with them all the way.
Shot is no good by Franklin, and the Aquinas Little Irish go the other way. And a foul. No basket. Traveling. Jim Luigi, if we got that name pronounced correctly, actually travels before the shot, so with 30 seconds left, 65-48. Franklin over Aquinas. Here the replay of that shot, just takes that extra step so the basket would never have counted. Franklin with the ball, 21 seconds left. No good. Rebound. Well, the ball being fought for everywhere. And finally put in. And that's it.
The final score, 67-48.
That just about tells the story. 67-48, Franklin a winner. Trent Jackson being tracked down now by Edison Tech head coach Dick O'Toole, rivals during the season. Now they get to chat about Franklin's second sectional title, the AAA championship, in 3 years. 3 straight sectional finalists. Aquinas, on the other hand, after a stellar effort, giving everything they had, do not win their first sectional final in 60 years. Let's go to Dick and Trent.
Coach, congratulations. Your team just played fantastic. Second one in 3 years, 3 years to the finals. I don't know what anybody can ask for anymore. What do you think the key to tonight's victory was for you?
We just wanted to play as a team, regardless who scored. We just felt we had to come back and play together as a team and just desire.
I thought 3 players played a very key role. Poindexter rebounding and the inside play of Thomas and the inside-outside play of Washington. I thought those 3 players really carried you tonight when in the early going the McLeans weren't hitting their normal outside shots.
The one thing I haven't mentioned, when we played Aquinas, Eric Thompson did not play. And we were hoping, as we told him all week, Eric, you're the difference, please come in and play. And the difference he made was the rebounding and inside play. I think that was the difference in both teams. First game he wasn't there, second game he played well for us.
Coach, playing on a bigger court tonight had any factor in the outcome of the game? You feel you were able to run more on this court than when you played at Aquinas?
Absolutely. At Aquinas we couldn't run, they pressured us into a lot of mistakes. Larger court enabled us to do some of the things we do best with speed.
Thank you very much, Coach. Congratulations. Now back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Dick, and congratulations to Franklin, all the partying on Norton Street tonight, and head coach Trent Jackson. We'll be back in just a few seconds. The final score once again from the War Memorial. Franklin over the Little Irish of Aquinas, 67-48 for the AAA championship, a TV 13 sports exclusive. Stay with us.
Hamburgers are like trains. At some places, the hamburger makes several stops. First in a box, then under the heat lamp, and finally in the holding bin. That's the local hamburger. At Wendy's, your hamburger goes straight to you while it's fresh. So why take the local hamburger when you can get a Wendy's Express? When it's really cold out, Wendy's homemade chili will really warm you up.
Exclusively from Tuxedo Junction, the Black Diamond Dynasty Tuxedo, created expressly for Adam Carrington and available only at Tuxedo Junction. Like Adam, the Black Diamond is proud, elegant, confident. At Tuxedo Junction, we know that poise and style are what legends are all about. And isn't that how you want to begin your very own dynasty? See this Tuxedo Junction exclusive and the Dynasty Collection at our formal wear locations.
Fred Cowgill and Dick O'Toole back at the War Memorial, where an estimated crowd of some 6,500 really saw a barn burner, Coach. The final once again, Franklin beating Aquinas 67-48 for the Quakers' second sectional title in 3 years. Of course, their third straight trip to the finals. The Little Irish, their first trip to the finals ever in their 60-year history. Chris Thomas, the high scorer for Aquinas, 22 points. Franklin's co-high scorers, Tim Washington and Eric Thomas, with 16 points. A final quick thought.
I think Aquinas was a little tentative in the beginning. Franklin went right at him and kept it right up. And I think as the game progressed, with the shots not falling for Aquinas, I think that, they became a little doubtful.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Great to work with you. Once again, Franklin a winner in the Section 5 AAA Championship of Basketball. Thank you for joining us. Fred Cowgill for Dick O'Toole saying have a nice night and a nice weekend. Bye-bye. Live from the Rochester War Memorial. This has been the final game in the 1986 Section 5 High School Basketball Tournament. Tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Rochester Coca-Cola, A.L. Anderson & Sons. In Section 5, Coke is it. And by Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers Restaurants. And by True Value Hardware and your local True Value Hardware dealer. This has been a NewsCenter 13 Sports Exclusive.
WVOR FM 100.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up.
WVOR FM 100.
QRSTU.
Stuck on you.
WVOR FM 100.
You're so
WVOR FM 100 with more favorites from yesterday and today.